sorry, trust me. You guys are pissing off the wrong guy on the wrong day, alright?
Well, really?
Yeah, really.
Get the hell out of here, loser! Let's get it.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Cobra Kai Episode 1 Recreation 1-year panel. By the time this releases, it will have been exactly 1 year since the release of the Cobra Kai Episode 1 Recreation, April 28th. This recreation took a year to make, so we released it back on April 28th of 2020, but started it back in March of 2019, and everyone you see here on this panel was involved in it. As you can see, there's not a huge cast for the people who were actually in the episode. Some people even played multiple characters. A lot of you guys probably remember them from the film. So we're going to talk about filming, the behind the scenes, what it was like, because there's 1 year of stories and stuff to tell. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's meet our panel, all our actors from the recreation. We could start with Danielle.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I'm Drew's sister, and I played Yasmin and Judy.
Hi, I'm Randy. I played the bullies, Kyler and Brooks. I was also lucky enough to play Daniel LaRusso and Johnny, even though it was just the backs of them. The fact that I got to play them was pretty fun and exciting.
I'm Leonard. I play the part of KREESE, and frankly, I think I was chosen because my disposition has been recognized as being that of, in real life, being that of KREESE.
My role was certainly a last minute thing. I was like behind the scenes all through, and I played the role of Allie, and it certainly was exciting to be part of it. Thank you, KREESE. Thank you.
Linda and myself are husband and wife, and sometimes when she's having a bad moment with me, she calls me KREESE.
And I'm Drew, or as you guys may know, the Cobra Kai Kid, and I played Johnny, Daniel, pretty much every single other character. So originally this wasn't going to be a whole episode recreation. Originally, the very first scene that was filmed was the golf cart scene. One of my favorite scenes from Cobra Kai is Johnny jamming out to Nothing But a Good Time. So it was my grandparents' golf cart, and I was riding it. And I was like, I thought it'd be fun if I just recreate that one scene. And then from there, I really don't know how it happened, but then it turned into a whole recreation. And this was before I had the channel. This is why it's kind of amazing to me, because I started this project before I made Cobra Kai Kid. So I was never planning on releasing it to anybody. So it was going to be for myself. It was purely a passion project. I was just starting Cobra Kai Kid. And when I did, I was like, oh, I'll just put this on here. And then now it's really remarkable, like the viewers that have seen it, and I'm just really proud of how it turned out. And it's just a great story of, in 1 year, so much can change. The inspiration for this was me just loving the show so much, being completely obsessed with the show. Before the Netflix days, when this was on YouTube, nobody I knew watched the show, so I would like quote the lines to myself. And my favorite episode was episode 1. I loved the first episode. So I would be saying all these lines to myself. I would be playing every character just in my head. So that's why I was like, might as well just put it to film. I love the story. I love doing it. I think I can recreate it, do my impressions of these characters. So that's like how it all started.
It started as a film that Drew was going to do and play all the characters. He had it set. I can do all the characters, but we soon learned that a little help was needed. So I became the bullies, and I became very involved in the martial arts in the opening scene for the Valley tournament. I even had the privilege of playing or doing the crane kick, which was a high honor since I was a Ralph Macchio fan as a teenager. So here I was actually doing the crane kick, and it was very exciting.
Whoever wins the next point will be our new champion.
Finish him!
And following clip by clip, Drew would just direct me where to stand, where to roll, how to tumble. And I didn't always know what I was doing, but at the end, when Drew edited it all together, somehow it always worked.
You know, in my part with Drew, there were times we were supposedly we were filmed. It appeared that we were together, but yet we were miles and miles apart. And the transformation, being able to more or less film it in such a manner that it appeared that we were together during my scene, and yet we weren't.
You were out of state. So basically when we filmed that green screen behind me, I was standing in front of there doing the action, and then Mom, you were with Grandpa and you filmed Grandpa doing the action, and you left the space open for me, and then I green screened myself in.
So I certainly didn't expect to be doing anything except be aiding behind the scenes. So my little role, I tell you, I was happy to be in it, but I certainly didn't expect to be in any part of it, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
Grandpa, can you talk about how you got into the character of KREESE and how you wanted to honor Martin Kove's performance?
Well, I identified with KREESE. Not that I thought of myself being, I know KREESE was considered to be mean and really determined to do it his way. People sometimes looked at me the same way, and I more or less eased into the relationship with KREESE, and in my mind, I made up my mind to become KREESE. Sweep the legs.
The legs.
The
leg, not the legs.
Sweep the leg. Sweep the leg. I thought before I got that line out properly, I had to repeat it about 32 times.
At least.
Sweep the leg. 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 No, sweep the leg.
Action.
Sweep the leg.
Okay, Danielle, what was it like acting in the recreation? Like, how did you get into character?
Playing Judy, Drew was basically just telling me what to do. Also, I'm very impatient, so it was a little difficult, and I was like getting annoyed at Drew. But then it came really easy to me playing Judy because that's my personality sometimes, so I didn't really have to act much. And then playing Yasmin, I was screaming in the car, which I do anyway. Also wasn't that much acting for me, so it was also really easy to get into both those roles.
What was the most challenging part about filming the recreation?
Probably the angles. We didn't always know which way to come in from and which way to turn on each other and do our punches. And we'd watch a clip over and over before doing it, because Drew is definitely a perfectionist. You know, our angles had to be right and our punches had to be right.
With this film, it wasn't just recreating the episodes and saying all the lines. We were getting all the exact camera angles. Everything in the show that you see, every single angle we covered. And the challenge with that is, in a real production of a TV show, a movie, they have multiple cameras running at the same time. So when you see a scene where Johnny's fighting the bullies, or Johnny's talking to Miguel, or they're at the dealership, they're doing the whole scene and they have multiple cameras running. So all they have to do is get the scene right once or twice. With us, we had one camera. So all these clips in the real show that were taken on all these different cameras, we only had one. So everything pretty much came down to editing, especially with the fights. Just had all these little random clips, and in isolation, they didn't look that good, but you put it all together, you put the dialogue over other clips, and I pretty much modeled it exactly after that episode.
Another thing is the costumes. You know, when we filmed the All Valley tournament, and you were playing the front and I was playing the back of each character, we had to figure out who was in the black gi, who was in the white gi. You did all your Johnny parts, and then you did all of your Daniel parts. A lot of it you do clip after clip, right in the exact order. But when it came to the fights, we didn't want to keep switching outfits. And I remember we met homeless Lynn at a meet and greet, and you were telling her about this project, and she said, Drew, I'd love to see it when it's done. I think it was like over a year later, you reached out and you were able to show it to her.
A big Cobra Kai fan. This is Drew and his mom, and he really likes the show, right?
I love the show, and I'm even
I'm gonna recreate the whole first episode.
You are?
Yeah, I want like I saw like it was like someone on YouTube who recreated like the whole Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I also like wanted to do Cobra Kai because I always like reenact scenes.
You know, it's unbelievable in a sense. When I think about it, my role was maybe 12 to 15 words. And you would think when you watch a film sometimes, you don't realize how much work it requires to get it right. Now, my 12, 15 words required my repeating it over and over again and filming over and over again. You have a problem with that? 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 Oh, you didn't count three. It gave me an understanding and appreciation for what it really takes to get something like this done, particularly when you're dealing with people that have never been on stage before, never did acted before.
All right, what was everyone's favorite scene from the recreation? So whether that's something you filmed or whether that was just something you watched, what was your favorite scene?
What I was most impressed with is myself.
How about me?
I was impressed with the fact that to get the 5 words out straight, that you had to spend hours before it was more or less done well enough to be effective, because it was probably the most important part of the film is by getting those five words out the way it should.
I thought the car dealership scene was brilliant. I think one day I spent to meet him at the end where we had to do the backs of a few characters. But other than that, the way he played Sheila and Daniel and Johnny and what are the 2 guys?
Anoush and Louie.
And it was just him talking to himself. At the end of the day, the scene was just phenomenal. So that I thought was just a tremendous amount of work, but you got a great outcome.
The scene that I liked most was the head game scene when Johnny gets in the car and he's drunk driving. That's my favorite scene of all time in Cobra Kai. So to recreate my all-time favorite scene and my all-time favorite episode is like, I got goosebumps watching the whole thing. And then filming with Grandpa with the trophy. When we were filming that thing with the trophy, where you had to break the trophy, that was like one of the best things. Yes. Hearing you talk as KREESE.
Now who's the loser? Who's the loser? Now who's the loser?
That trophy could only be broke one time. So we had to keep practicing and practicing and practicing with a water bottle to get it just right.
Yeah.
Now who's the loser? Now who's the loser?
No.
Yeah.
Now who's the loser?
Yeah. Take.
Break.
Throw.
Throw. Throw it.
Now who's the loser?
No, throw it. You could throw it and then be like, now who's the loser?
Yeah,
And then use your hands. Use.
Now who's the loser?
Now who's the loser?
Now who's the loser?
Take.
Break. Throw. And then use your hands.
Now who's the loser?
Great joy for me was the beginning scene when I was in the scene with my son, my mom, and my dad. So when Linda played Allie and KREESE and Johnny were standing next to each other and I acted as the announcer, just looking around in that room, it just gave me such joy to say, like, to be a part of it. And I was just so proud of my son and so proud of my parents. And of course, Danielle, you weren't in that scene, but so proud of the work you did in your roles as well.
So at the time of recording this, the recreation sits at over 625,000 views, which is one of my most viewed videos on Cobra Kai Kids. So what does it mean for you guys to be a part of this project that has been seen by viewers, by Cobra Kai actors, by people involved in the show? What is that like for all of you?
I know I only had a few lines and I probably spent 20 minutes like doing this whole thing. And it's crazy that like whatever you said, 600 something thousand people like saw me do that. I know I was a star, but Drew, I know put in so much time and effort. So like for him to get that recognition, it was much deserved.
I'm glad it got the viewership it did, because the time that was put in, the passion that was put in, it should be seen. I'm so proud of it. Anyone that I know that watches Cobra Kai, I said, you have to see this recreation.
As a grandpa for myself, it gave me so much pleasure because this was a family affair. And for my family to work together as they did to create this thing, and for Drew to more or less take his family and get them to perform the way they did. It was just beyond that he could accomplish what he did, considering the, I don't want to say really the lack of talent, but really the lack of something. We haven't had the experience. And yet he was able to draw from us enough to put together something that really came across very, very well.
Because love of family really showed out with this.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could
Yeah.
have done this together if they really didn't enjoy being together and love each other as much as we do.
So well
So-
said.
What was the biggest thing that you've learned that took away from filming this recreation?
Not really for me, but I just learned for Drew, like this job is like so hard. Like even though like I was like complaining when he was making me film like and like redo little parts, but like every little detail, like whether it be the angle or like the way you say something is like so important to like for it to all come together like the way you want it to at the end. So I give props to Drew for like making us do it like the exact right way, even if we didn't want to, because it like worked out.
Direction was the most important, was the key. And you provided the kind of direction that forced us to do things that weren't exactly comfortable. We had to do things that we weren't accustomed to doing. And you had the patience to go over it over and over and over again. We were the resources. And
Well, your typecasting was very good,
Oh.
I must say,
and
because you got the
technology-
most out of everybody.
and the technology needed and the patience that was required to bring us all together to get the job done was just remarkable.
Thinking about this whole process, as hard as we worked, we had a really good time. Like we just had so much laughter. Like, so it was hard work and sometimes stressful, but the positive and the, you know, the fun outweighs everything. Like, you know, I watch it. I just watch the actual real episode itself or the recreation, and it just so much flashes back to me.
The biggest thing that I took away from this is that really anything is possible. And I know that sounds cliche. I know it sounds cliche, but when we first started this project, we didn't really look at the whole episode and say, how are we going to do this? Kind of just started it and just did it as we went along. So when we got to the fight scenes, I was like, oh, I don't even know how we're going to do this. And look, it took months. So it was hard, but we were able to do it. And really, I think it came out as good as it can be. So really, I think anything is possible. And if you are creative and if you put your mind to something and believe in something, you can really do anything. And no matter how much time it takes, because this was entirely a passion project. Me and my mom were filming fight scenes for months. Like each fight probably took 3 months on its own. So, and those fights were probably 30 seconds of the 30-minute episode. So we wouldn't have been able to put that much time and effort and devotion into it if we weren't having fun. I don't think anyone can. And I think you can really see from watching, it is a lot of fun. And those are memories that I will cherish, and a great learning experience for me, and to work with a great crew, cast, and family. It's my honor to have worked with you guys. So,
Oh my God.
all right. So I get this question all the time. So I think it's fair I just address it. The question I always see is, where's the episode 2 recreation? When's it coming out? Because this is episode 1. A lot of people are expecting me to recreate the whole season. Now, this project took a year to make. When I was working on this project, I was doing nothing else. I had no time. So it's definitely a lot of time, but I really enjoyed making the first one, even though it took all the time. And a lot of people really seem to love it. And I love episode 2 just as much as episode 1. So you never know. I do plan on doing more parodies and skits, and whether even if it's not a 30-minute episode recreation, I still plan on doing these sorts of fun interactive videos. I'm very excited to show that off to you guys. So if you enjoyed these like fun videos, if you're a fan of the show and you enjoyed this recreation, there's more stuff like this to come. I love the show. Everyone here loves the show, and we're all very excited for you guys to see what we have coming. So I just want to thank all of you again for being on here. Really means a lot. I love you guys, and I hope everyone out there, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this panel. I hope you guys learned something. I'll see you guys next time on Cobra Kai Kid, and until then, remember,
Cobra
Kai
never
never
dies.
dies.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight. Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight. Now isn't this what it's all about, folks?
Go! Yeah! Fight! Here we go!
Turn, Neil.
Yeah, Johnny, you're a cream puff!
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
No, Sensei.
No mercy.
That's 2 points, LaRusso. Warrants nothing. Ready, fight! Yeah! 1 point Lawrence. Ah! 1 point Lawrence. 2-2. Yeah! Get him a body bag! Yeah! Warning, illegal contact to the knee. Finish it, Johnny!
Whoever wins the next point will be our new champion.
Finish it!